Either they're still at work or they can't possibly get back. So I'll continue to let everybody in from the waiting room and welcome all of you. This is a really important topic tonight. And, you know, we've tried this once before. And to be honest with you, I felt like we barely scratched the surface with what we are facing as a population. You know, you guys ever think about how many people, if you ask them, do you wish you were healthier? Do you wish you had a healthier weight? Most people would say yes, right? And then you look at all the different trends out there, all the different fads, all the different diets. I am so tired. How about you guys? I am so tired of seeing people go through all the work, all the stress that they endure to do some trendy fad diet, starving themselves for a period of time, only to end up a few months down the road exactly where they were. Exactly where in fact, worse, because now they beat themselves up with guilt, with shame, with I'm a loser. See, I failed again. I can never do anything right. And now they walk around wanting to hang their head because they're embarrassed that they announce to the world, I'm going to be healthy. I'm on a new journey. Watch me, follow me. And then they feel like a failure and they want to hide even more. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Now, I'll go as far as to say, I am a certified weight management coach with Transitions Lifestyle Systems. Half the reason I am here is because I have been teaching that class for 20 years. And still, 95% of the people that I have worked with in the past end up going right back to where they were. Do you know how frustrating that is, especially when we're not starving you, we're not depriving you, we're giving you a healthy lifestyle that anybody can live by. So why still, with all the tools and all the past, why still do we go back to the way life was? Why do we go back to the way we were? This is exactly what I saw as an entrepreneur, as a mentor, as a wellness coach, as a weight management coach. And I finally, a year ago, made a huge decision. Actually, it was about 2 years ago when my parents were very ill. And I knew that I would be spending a lot of time sitting at their side, a lot of time traveling. And I thought, what better time than right now to actually go back and learn how I can more deeply impact the truth of what's going on here. What are the root issues? Now, are there issues with proper exercise, proper hormone balance, proper macronutrients, proper eating? Gosh, yes, yes, that's part of it. I mean, we can't become a healthy person if we have no idea what the right exercise, what the right hormone balance, what the right supplements, and the right nutritional macronutrient needs are. We need all of that. But the truth is, that will never be enough if we have underlying issues in the relationship that we have with food. And that is why we're here tonight. In all the classes I've taught, the one true area that I feel like my skill comes to light is when we dig deeper. And I see we've got a lot of people that I've worked with Transitions Lifestyle System. When we dig deeper, and we ask the person, I'll give you guys an example. How many of you can relate to this? And please feel free to interact in the chat at this point. And if you want to come off mute as I'm going through the information tonight, come off mute and say, Chele, I need to ask a question here, or I have a thought here, or reach out to me afterwards if it's too personal. But I will say, as I'm thinking about all of us that we've worked together, one situation that really helped me to see, my goodness, if we could get a grasp on the relationship and the psychology behind why we do what we do, we could all be healthy. We could all live healthy lives and add longevity and teach others how to do it. So I'll give you an example. We had a client who shared with us, said, oh, you know, it was like we had one hot day months ago here in Wisconsin, one hot day. And she was like, oh my gosh, I had to go for ice cream today. It was just such a warm, sunny day. I had to get ice cream. And I said, do me a favor and just finish that for me. Say, it was a warm, sunny day and I just had to get ice cream because, and she goes, well, because it was a hot day and ice cream's nice and cool. Okay, so let's keep going. It was a hot day. I had to get ice cream because ice cream is nice and cold on a hot day. And I also needed that ice cream because she goes, because it reminds me of like when I was a kid and we'd all go for ice cream together. And I'm like, bingo, that's really what you missed. You didn't miss the dang ice cream. You missed the sweetness of the emotions that you felt when you were with your family. I just got goosebumps. It's the truth. You miss the love. You miss the belonging. You miss the security, the warmth that you felt when everybody went together to get the ice cream. It wasn't quite that way for me in my life. We didn't go together typically to get ice cream. Sometimes my mom would run in and get ice cream and root beer from the root beer stand. And that was always a treat when we come in from chores. The other treat was the world was pretty tough. And when you live on a large dairy farm in the state of Wisconsin, you can only imagine there's work in the morning, there's work at night, there's schooling between, you push, push, push. And when we get to come in at night and load ourselves with delicious buttery sugar bread and pails of ice cream, boy, did that feel like love to me. Boy, did that feel like safety to me. Boy, did that feel good to me. You see, that's what I really missed. That's what I really missed. For years, I struggled with emotional eating. I would say addicted to every issue you could possibly be addicted to when it came to food. Am I thin enough? Am I too thin? Do I look too stocky? Am I working out enough? Oh gosh, it feels good to sit here and just eat this whole bag of chips right now, watching a movie and thinking about nothing else. What a beautiful escape that felt like until the next day, right? And then you feel so much worse. Isn't that the truth? Then you feel so much worse. So tonight, guys, I'm going to share some information with you that I really pray will be helpful to all of you. And like I said, I intentionally kept this meeting format because I want to see you. I want to see your faces, and I want you to feel free to interact. So let's get things started. And please feel free to take notes. And like I said, it's recorded and it's Facebook Live. You can go to my Facebook page and share it over to yours if you want to. So unhealthy eating has many psychological factors that truly influence why and how we eat. That's what I want to talk about tonight. So for those of you that have never met me, my name is Chele Boe. I'm from Chilton, Wisconsin. I have 25 years in the health and nutrition industry. I am a product specialist and a nutraceutical consultant, certified in both arenas. I am a certified weight management coach, and I'm also a now rapid transformation therapy practitioner. And what I did is I went back to school to take my knowledge and skill set to a deeper level so that I can help more people get past themselves. You see, one thing I know to be clear, our thoughts and the pictures we carry in our mind, 100% will dictate everything about our life. Our thoughts and the pictures we have in our mind. You see, your mind doesn't care what you tell it. If you tell your mind good things, bad things, healthy things, unhealthy things, right things, wrong things, all it does is it says, okay, I hear you. Let's make that happen for you. All right, I got you. It's been a hard day. You felt very insecure today. You felt like crying today, but we should stuff that down because we were taught not to cry. All right, well, let's get a bag of chips and that'll make it all better. Guys, I saw a commercial the other day that almost made me vomit. It was a teenage girl and a mom. I don't know if anybody has seen this. I've only seen it once, and once was enough. The teenage girl's sitting on the couch and she's just sitting there twiddling her thumbs, looking at her phone, and her mom in her head is saying, I wonder what's wrong with her. Could she be anxious, depressed, sad, bored? Oh, no, she was hungry. That's what she was. She was hungry, and it shows the mom giving her food. And I'm thinking the lasting thing that teenager wanted was food. She wanted love. She wanted to feel lovable. She wanted to feel like she belonged. She wanted her mom to spend time with her. Dear God, the last thing she needed was to be having food shoved in her face. But how many of us have done it? How many of us have done it? Even our grandkids. I can promise you that I will never be the grandparent that is guilty of shoving a popsicle or a lollipop in my grandchild's face. I never, ever have done it, and I will never do it. My daughter and her husband will attest to it. They may get a beef stick. They may get a protein bar or a protein shake, but they know that's their grandma. I know Suzanne's laughing. It's so true. My mom tells me I'm just evil and mean, but I look at it like that's being loving. They don't need sugar shoved in their face. What kind of a habit would I be creating with them? And you see, that's why a lot of us are in the circumstance we are, is because those habits were given to us at a very young age. Nobody with ill intention, never. The intentions are always good. But Sue Marks, I'm going to talk to you. You got a new grandbaby now. You do not get to shove lollipops and popsicles in that grandbaby's face. So it's going to be beef sticks and protein shakes for that little one. So how many of you have found yourself when you sit down, because I know I have, and all of a sudden I'm like, where did this fluffy stuff come from? Why is this hanging over my shorts right now? I do not like this fluffy stuff. And I like to call it fluffy because, oftentimes fluffiness causes frustration. And at the same time, I realize that I really do feel fantastic. I feel very healthy. I do feel quite lean. I exercise on a regular basis. I eat beautifully. I do not choose to eat unhealthy things or sugar. And at the same time, I am a female that's in menopause. I'm having some hormone changes. I probably have imbalances like many of you with the bacteria in my gut. Everything starts in the gut. How about the inflammatory response? I'm super sensitive to gluten, to lectins, to dairy. There's so many things I'm sensitive to nuts, that it causes my tummy to inflame and bloat. Anybody else experience this and you hurt inside? And get this, a colicky kid, what do we try and do? Shove a bottle in their mouth because we just want them to be okay. But their tummy hurts so bad and they don't know how to make it better. And oftentimes we become fluffy because we truly know nothing about blood sugar regulation. And we have got to come back to this place where we eat and supplement to keep our blood sugar regulated. It will help us mentally, emotionally, physically, in every way. How many of you have experienced what we call mindless eating? Where you truly just eat, right? You truly just eat without even paying attention. You're not really hungry. You're going to turn on a movie. So of course you have to sit down with a bowl of popcorn or a bag of chips or whatever it might be. Of course we do, right? And all of a sudden it's gone. Or worse yet, my husband sits down with those bags of, the omega-3, like blend of nuts and seeds and, dried fruits. He will finish that thing off just watching TV. But he's worse than I am because I'll eat one at a time intentionally to go slow. But he is a concrete man. So he takes it like it's a concrete scoop and goes like this. And he does the same with popcorn. Lucky for him, he's a hardworking physical guy. So he typically works it off. But how many of you have found yourself, you're just sitting there and all of a sudden the whole bag is gone? Or emotional eating. This is definitely what's my downfall. I really, really worked very hard, guys, to notice when I was going to eat in response to emotions. We have got to, I always say, catch, cancel, and restate our negative thoughts. We need to do the same thing when we know we're stressed, we're sad, we're hurt, we're angry, we're bored, we feel lost, we don't know how to cope. Maybe something really difficult happened. Maybe somebody hurt you or offended you. What's the easiest thing to go to? Food and alcohol. And that's what we do. And we stuff it down. And you know what? It's beyond that. It's beyond the fact that I'm an adult woman who decided to stuff things down, because this is where we need to know that imprint, that desire, because some people do the opposite. They don't eat at all when they have deep emotions. So it can't just be that we all do the same thing, because we all come from different backgrounds with different imprints, right? My imprint was, when life was scary and things were hard, we ate. And that made it all better. I wasn't much of a drinker. I had a certain period of time while I was a teenager, but my boyfriend, when he was killed in that motorcycle accident, it really just brought everything to a standstill in my life. And I just decided alcohol was just not a thing for me. I couldn't have cared less. I went through all my college days without hardly ever had a drink. I don't know if I even did. So for me, it was food, and it was learning, okay, Chele, this has been a tough day for you. Let's have a conversation with self. Let's talk with self. and let's really walk through this, get my emotions out. I will actually record myself on my phone recorder and listen to it back. It's one of the most therapeutic things that I can recommend you guys do. Hear yourself getting it out, hear it back. I found myself playing it for Tony the other day. I had something I was frustrated about, so I recorded something and I said all the words I needed to say. And I put it on our speaker system and we sat and laughed so hard with my ranting. It was so funny. And I said, look how therapeutic this is. I got it all out, but now we're actually laughing about it. It can't hurt me anymore. And I'm not going to eat to stuff it down anymore. Right? How about just cravings? So many people, right? Those of you familiar with Transitions Lifestyle System, in my opinion, it is the only way to really live the rest of your life balanced. It is the easiest lifestyle to ever adapt to because it's real food and you're eating normal, balanced food. It's all based on what's on your plate and how often you're eating. So that is simple, and that is something that I live by. However, the struggle most women and men face when they start the program is, but Chele, I'm going crazy. I'm losing my mind. I want salty things. I want crunchy things. I want sweet things. Yes, you do, because it's as addictive as a drug. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I had a friend who was addicted to every drug there is, including alcohol, cocaine, you name it. He broke free of every addiction except for sugar. He said, I can't beat this addiction for the life of me. He beat himself up. He lived constantly in guilt and shame because he couldn't, because you see, food is always having to be a part of our life. So there's always that taste, right? Alcohol, drugs, you can cut it out, right? It's gone. No taste of it. But food, that's always coming in. And all of a sudden you get that craving for something. How do we offset that? By eating disciplined, all the right foods, and allowing our body to come back to homeostasis where it's once again happy because you're giving it the right things and you've regulated the blood sugar. So we can teach you those things. It's important to start there if cravings is the issue. How about habits and routine? How about social norms? Dear God, you guys, every state, but the state of Wisconsin is ridiculous. Brats and beer and cheese curds. And I mean, it's almost disgusting. When the weather gets warm for some reason, we think it's about eating and drinking. And then when the weather is cold, it's about comforting ourselves with the warm, yummy, sweet baked goods inside. I mean, we live our whole life around habits in relation to food rather than really considering, am I eating to nutritionally balance my body and my mind? Or am I eating for entertainment? And I will tell you, it's another thing that I see oftentimes in transitions classes. People can't seem to get past. Well, I don't know. I get so bored. Oh my gosh, like meat and vegetables every day. Yep. Meat and vegetables every day. Yep. Yeah. So if you're bored, how about chicken today, turkey tomorrow, fish the next day, and steak the next day? How about that for boredom? If you're bored, how about Cajun seasoning today, Italian seasoning tomorrow, liquid aminos the next day? How about flavoring it up with seasonings? You're still bored? How about asparagus today, mushrooms and onions tomorrow, yellow squash the next day, sweet potato the next day? Please don't come with, I'm bored. That is so just not the truth. What it really is food had become such a source of entertainment for you that you are addicted to the entertainment value of it. It needs to be rolled in something, stuffed between something, stuffed into something, dripping with cheese of something, right? Or it's not entertaining enough. This is all in our mind. Go back to the beginning, the thoughts and the pictures. So you picture that big, juicy bacon cheeseburger and you're like, oh, but Chele, it looks so good. You want to know what my mind says? That looks sick and disgusting. That looks disgusting. I walk through the bakery in a store and I used to take my classes right through there and I'd say, repeat after me as we walk through here. That is sick and disgusting. That's sick and disgusting. They're like, this is so weird. I'm like, I don't care. You tell yourself, I would never put that horrific stuff into my body and plug up my intestines and cause fermentation, and bacteria and rotting feces to sit in my guts, causing me disease and sickness. I would never put that stuff in my body, because what does flour and water make? Paste. And there you've got a gut full of paste. So I would have them say out loud, I would never put, so you say, but Chele, you're depriving yourself. Nope, I actually think you're depriving yourself of longevity, of mobility, of flexibility, of health, of being able to play with your grandchildren and your children, of being able to have comfortable intimacy. You see, you're the one that's depriving yourself. If you're doing this to yourself, you're only hurting you, which is why I feel so passionate about it. Sometimes, guys, the greatest issue is people have this perceived lack of control, and they feel like they have no control over their eating. Oh, I just had to have it. Well, we were at a wedding, but Chele, it was a cookout. Guys, I go to weddings, I go to social gatherings, I have cookouts almost every day of my life. In fact, I cooked out again today. But you know what I made? Lean, healthy pork from Rastelli's meats and asparagus and onions. That's what I made. My husband, on the other hand, will add, in addition to the macaroni salad that's in the fridge, because he wants some carbs with his meal. That doesn't mean I need those carbs. I don't want them. And I certainly don't want something with gluten in it. You see? So you do have control. It's what we tell ourselves. Oftentimes what happens is when you actually think you're out of control, you become embarrassed, you hide it, you closet eat, you're filled with guilt and shame, and now it's a vicious cycle of unhealthy eating and negative emotions. Guys, this is what I call a crazy cycle. We've all been on it. We've all been through it. We've all faced it. I am no different than any of you. I have been through the worst of the worst body image issues. Oh, dear God. Too skinny, too fat, too stocky, too lean, always concerned. Why do we do this? We do it because we feel like we can't control all the emotions happening on the inside. So we work to control what's happening on the outside. We look in the mirror and it's like, that's it. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do boot camps. I'm going to starve myself. We're trying to control something on the outside because we don't know how to get a handle on all the sadness and the emotions and the traumas and the brokenness and the not feeling loved and the feeling so much like you're never enough in this life. So we feed it. And overall, the psychology behind unhealthy eating is so absolutely complex and multifaceted that what happens is oftentimes people just give up. You do not need to give up. Guys, we can make mindful and intentional choices. We absolutely can. I'm telling you, I'm living proof. If you could only see what my life was when my boyfriend was killed in that motorcycle accident. I started college the day of his funeral. I have never been so lost in my entire life. We did have a hard childhood. We did. There were 7 kids, and we didn't always have a lot of money. We knew how to work, but we really didn't know how to share our emotions. When I went away to college, I was planning on the love of my life being there with me. We were supposed to leave for college 2 days after he was actually died in that motorcycle accident. I left the day of his funeral, made the decision I was going to go anyway, and I did. But wow, was I messed up. Right? I was just messed up, and food became my friend. And sometimes it was my enemy, but food was my sort of sense of, I need to have control over something because I feel like everything is out of my control. Even the person I loved is now gone. You see, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there. And that's why we can share this. So I want to talk about our relationship with food. Yes, we have relationships with food. Sometimes you go through brokenness, trauma, divorce, separation, abuse, neglect in your relationship with your significant other. And what becomes your best friend? Food and alcohol. That's what we turn to. It's safe. It doesn't talk back. It doesn't hurt us. It doesn't blame us, but it's always there, right at our side, right? How about those of us that learned when we were little that love was when mama baked cookies, that love was when daddy took us for ice cream? How many of us learned that food was love, that sweets were love. How about the young client that I had? She couldn't understand what it was with chocolates and sweets. She had such an addiction. Ends up, her parents divorced. Her mother and father did not get along. And the only real relationship she had with her father is when he would send her little boxes of sweets and chocolates. She would save them, she would keep them and hold on to them. They meant love. Maybe daddy does love me because he sends me these boxes of sweets. Do you see how easy it is to get messed up in the head with food? Safety. Sometimes it is the only thing that feels safe. That was me. Punishment. Some of us, we were taught that we are unworthy, we are not enough, we have no value, and we don't believe we deserve any better than to be fluffy and frustrated and uncomfortable and never fit in. Some of us, we were scared, we were abused, we were mistreated even by our siblings. And the only way to get stronger was to get bigger. And if I'm bigger, then they won't hurt me. Right? And it became our protection. Significance. Some of us, the only way we find significance in this world is to be lean and fit, work out. Some of us, it's to be big and fluffy, and the world notices us, good or bad. They see us when we walk through a room, don't they? Good or bad. Security, escape, numbing ourselves. Sometimes it's just about fitting in. We had a little conversation about this on the last event when we talked about this topic. Sometimes we feel so different from other people. We're almost socially awkward unless we're like serving food, bringing out food, being the best at entertaining others, hospitable. It becomes our way of fitting in socially. And obviously entertainment and fun. You know, how many people, they don't golf, they don't do sports, they don't do fishing unless it involves food and alcohol. So you have somebody like my husband who's broken free of alcohol, and it limits you in your friendships, doesn't it? When everybody wants to do things with you, but only if it involves an 18-pack. And there you are going, well, do we have life without it? Could we have life without it? Or do we have to drink and eat every time we do something? What would life be if we chose not to? So let's talk a little bit now about our hormone levels, because obviously we all know some of the fluffy stuff. And this is where a lot of women will reach out to me. What happened? Chele, I have never had an issue. What happened that now all of a sudden I've got this little spare tire or this little puffy tummy or this little pocket right here in front? What happened? Hormones happen, guys. Between ages 45 and 55, there's drastic changes in our hormones. The three hormones that are majorly affected will be estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Progesterone levels will decrease during menopause. So I don't know how many of you are in still full on menstrual phase of life. Some of you perimenopause, some of you are full on into menopause. That would be me. I'm in year number 3 now. Really, the only thing I noticed, not really so much weight gain, because I think I just did a really good job of being healthy leading into it. And I used the correct supplements to offset the weight gain. It was more for me a few, hot flashes throughout the day and maybe sweats at night. So I'm going to tell you guys, those of you who know me know that this is my little trick mentally. When I have a hot flash, I embrace it. I love it. I tell myself 100 more calories melting away, 100 more calories, the fat's melting away. And so it's like thermogenesis, the body's heating up. And I think, well, if it heats up, it had to burn something off, right? So I learned to embrace it rather than fight it or be disgusted with myself about it, because I believe that the words we say to ourselves are so important. I want you to be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself. You're going through some major changes. Love yourself through it. Don't beat your body up for it. God created us perfectly, exactly the way he wanted us. If our hormones change when we hit perimenopause and menopause, he planned it that way, right? So, he planned it that way. We will have some mood changes. We will have some weight gain. We will have some other symptoms, but we can offset those things so it doesn't affect us majorly. Testosterone, oftentimes we just think about men, but you see women have testosterone as well. Testosterone levels decline, but they stay. Estrogen levels drop tremendously. Cortisol levels go through the roof. So let me tell you, women, we lose our libido, we lose our muscle mass, we lose our bone density, and we become angry men. I laugh about that because it is sort of laughable. It's like, okay, God, you have quite the sense of humor here. So I'm going to be an angry old man. I've got testosterone, I've got cortisol, I've got tummy fat now, I got no libido. Can we offset those things? 100%. I still have a fantastic libido. I have excellent muscle mass. I have incredible bone density. Yes, we can offset those things. There's ways to do it. So I'm going to tell you right from the mouth of Dr. Deidre Mason. I brought this question up when I was with her last weekend. I said, I need to know to support my clients. What do we do in regard to the major hormone changes we're experiencing? Number one, she said, we must have micronutrients. Must. It's not enough to just go, here's my healthy fat, here's my healthy protein, here's my healthy carb. We need to go deeper. Micronutrients, trace minerals. The Women's Essential Isotonic Health Packet is best for a woman who is in change of hormone time. That's your best multivitamin. Number two, must have activated methylated B complex, namely B6 for women going through hormonal changes. Number three, must have magnesium. Many of you know nurse practitioner Julie Lancido. Not one client that she services, not one, does not walk out her door with magnesium. Every single woman she serves has magnesium. It is necessary. For those of you that feel that tired and wired feeling, I was guilty of this. I was putting in long days, filling my days with so much, and I was coming to the point where I'm like, geez, I had an awake this morning and awake this afternoon, and I had my Trim Cafe. What's going on that I'm still tired yet wired? She said, because you don't need caffeine. You don't need enhancers for energy. You need magnesium. Magnesium balances you. So magnesium is the key. So I now take turn down each night, magnesium each day. Must have omega-3. Omega-3 is going to support the inflammatory response we are naturally going to notice as we have hormonal changes. It's also going to support the neurological function in our brain and body. We must have a DHA, EPA rich omega-3, especially for brain health. And for those women that are concerned, obviously, about heart health and being able to maintain their physical health, omega-3. Sleep pattern is crucial. Crucial was the word that Dr. Deidre Mason used. And she said crucial because if we are not sleeping well and we are not detoxing during the evening, guys, we need to go through or should be going through 4 sleep cycles a night, 4 90-minute sleep cycles per night. Now, if you say, Chele, that's impossible for me, I just don't have however many minutes that is, you have to tell me, Kim Elliott, 90 times 4 would be 360. If you say, I don't have that many hours to be able to sleep at night, 360 divided by 60 is 6. Is that right? Wow, I'm pretty good with my math tonight. I'm impressed with myself. If I actually did that right, that was pretty impressive. I'm not usually a mathematician. But let's say you say, I just, that's impossible for me. Do what works to wake up at the finish of a sleep cycle, because your body goes through an entire cycle. And in the finish of that cycle, it's cleansing and detoxifying. Crucial that we detoxify. Curcumin, Dr. D said, is a must to have continual detoxification and support the liver. She said, women, please hear me. It's the most important thing when we have hormonal changes, women, as we're moving into the next phase in life, we have got to have continuous detoxification. We actually have within the Nutrimetrics line, a 3-product detoxification supplement packet. This comes with a liver cleanse called hepato cleanse. It comes with curcumin, which supports cleansing the blood and the liver. And it comes with Oxygen Extreme, which is well known to support all capacities in the body, especially our lung health, and good antioxidant support with the selenium in there as well. Guys, that's something. The truth is, the older we get, the more we've got to invest in our health because we break down faster. We age and rust faster from the inside. So if you want to keep up and balance it out, this is straight from the mouth of Dr. D. Women say, Chele, maybe if I work out harder, I'm gonna start working out harder. I'm gonna tell you guys that's not the answer. It's not the answer. It's the right type of exercise for your body. It needs to be I used to be 11 years fitness kickboxing instructor. Then all of a sudden I had this revelation, hey, maybe I'll teach my own kick butt class. And then I'm going to go over to my friend and support his business in CrossFit. And I'm going to do his 4 times more intense workout. And I'm going to do that 3 times a week and do my workout 4 times a week. I pounded on the pounds. I think last time I said it was like 10 pounds and it was 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I gained 8 pounds, 2 weeks, 8 pounds. And I went to my kinesiologist friend, someone I trust, David Beiser. I said, what's happening here? I am gaining weight. He said, Chele, you are stressing your body to the max. It will hold on to everything. It's going to inflame. It's going to hold on to water. It's going to hold on to everything because it is so uncomfortable right now. You're stressing it out. So I backed off. I went back to my regular routine. And then a few years later, I decided I am going to do a mix of yoga and power walking and resistance exercise with my Bowflex. Guys, mix it up a little bit, but do what's right for your body. Resistance is best. Sometimes if we're still a little fluffier or on the fluffier side, the resistance of our own body weight will be enough. So how many of you would agree that it's important to set goals? Yes, we have to have goals. But again, if we don't change our thinking and start to tell ourselves a new story about who we are, it's going to be very hard to keep our goals. And then we end up back in crazy cycles. So let's talk about good goals. Recognizing, number one, high calorie foods are not necessarily unhealthy. Good example. I eat an avocado every day of my life, and I have for 2.5 years. My mom, when she was going through her treatments, had said to me, Chele, I've got to keep some weight on. I've got to keep eating. And unfortunately, most people around people who are sick and who want to gain weight, they like to feed them pies and cookies and ice cream and cakes. And I am 100% opposed to that because cancer feeds off sugar. It loves it. It craves it. It eats it. You are going to cause your cancer to grow at an unbelievable rate. You need to get that sugar out of your body and feed your body the right things. So my mom and I were in the kitchen and I was eating an avocado and she said, well, that would be one way for me to pack on the pounds. I said, Mom, I'm offended. I said, first of all, I pride myself in healthy, balanced eating. Secondly, I am not overweight. And finally, I said, I have been eating an avocado for the last 2.5 years every day. There's a lot of calories. There's a lot of fat. Those calories are exactly what the body wants. Good fat burns up bad fat. The brain loves healthy fat. It loves omega-3s. My inflammation goes down as a result of eating the healthy fat. We need healthy fat for brain, for skin, for hair, for everything in the body. So that is an example, one example. Practicing mindful eating, being very present, very aware. Don't turn on the TV and sit with a movie with a bag of something or your plate of food. Sit at the table and just enjoy the beauty of eating a healthy, balanced meal. And notice how all of a sudden your body notices that you're actually full. Gaining control over emotional eating habits by catching yourself going, ooh, I'm eating right now, not because I'm hungry. I've had plenty to eat today. I'm eating right now because I'm really sad inside. And what that person said hurt me. Well, how do I resolve that? Call the person and say, I need to talk. I need to let you know that hurt me today. You guys, your cravings will go right away. Deal with the issue head on. Avoid labeling things good and bad. We heard it the whole time we were growing up. Well, you're being a good girl. Hey, Johnny, you're being a bad boy today, right? And we learned that good and bad definitely for us means deeply emotionally who we are as a person. And all of a sudden our worth and our value and our ability to feel like we are loved and like we're enough, it's not there. So forgive yourself, please. If you're going to a gathering and you want to eat the wedding cake, eat the dang wedding cake if it's something you choose to do. But before you go, don't be saying, okay, all right, I'm not going to eat anything unhealthy. I'm not going to touch that wedding cake. Nothing unhealthy. Not going to touch the wedding cake. You get there and you're like, oh, it's carrot cake wedding cake. I didn't know it was carrot cake wedding cake. I have to have it. Carrots are healthy, right? Oh yeah, carrots are healthy. Carrot cake, not so much, right? Instead, say to yourself, because for me, I would never touch cake or muffins or cookie. I really don't. I don't even look at it. I couldn't care less. It would never enter my body. And that's just the truth. Why? Because I'm so deeply programmed to believe that that will not serve my body well. So instead, I eat a protein bar. I always have a couple things in my purse, beef sticks, protein bars, things like that. So if I do get hungry, I usually drink a shake before I go, but I make the decision before I leave that I'm going to eat healthy. Now, if you want to make the decision that you're going to eat that cake, then make it before you go so you don't beat yourself up. Because when you beat yourself what do you do next? You eat even more. You come home and make it even worse. Do supplements make a difference? 100%. I've got quite a few supplements here behind me today. Some of them are with our Transitions Lifestyle System line. Some of them are with our isotonics. I've also got the gummies out there with the apple cider vinegar because they're really good for obviously, immune system, digestive health, and weight management. So I've got a lot of supplements out here tonight, but I want to talk about a couple of them. And certainly you can feel free to ask questions, especially as we close out and come to Q&A this evening. So supplements do make a difference. However, sometimes you don't know which supplements are for you. I would encourage you, whoever invited you tonight has a tlsslim.com site. Ask them, can I go to your site and just take that TLS weight loss profile? Take that profile and find out what your feedback is, because that profile will set you up for success. TLSslim.com, go to the About TLS, drop down to the weight loss profile. Take that profile and let it tell you what it's recommending. Doesn't mean it's carved in stone, but it gives you and your client manager a really good place to start. So I want to help you a little bit tonight with some of the questions that typically come up. You say, Chele, I know I am constantly living in stress. I'm in fight or flight. I'm stressed out. I'm emotional. I'm overworked, so on and so forth. You really want to get in there with an adaptogen. So you're looking at either Axe or Bliss. Axe or Bliss. These are two products that work as an adaptogen. They help the body, whether you're too high or too low, they help the body adapt. What's the difference between the two? Bliss supports dopamine and serotonin only. Those are two of your obvious major hormones. Axe is going to go and support dopamine, serotonin, and some of your other like adrenaline, norepinephrine, some of your other neurotransmitters as well. Different price point. If you want a place to start with Bliss. If you love Bliss and you know that there's certain times in life you're going to need a little bit extra, maybe have the Axe on hand as well. Axe stands for adrenal, cortisol, thyroid, and stress support. Tummy target. You're somebody that says, man, Chele, it's just my tummy. I got that little fluff around the tummy. Believe it or not, grass-fed beef is one of your best sources of CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. Red meat gets a bad rap, but that's because most red meat is saturated animal fat. It's not a healthy fat. If it is a grass-fed, a pure certified grass-fed red meat, it's actually considered a power food. That has the good fat that burns up bad fat. If you choose not to eat grass-fed red meat, which I don't recommend eating it every day, then a good supplement for you is going to be the CLA. Conjugated linoleic acid works best when you're physically active. So if you're somebody that's physically active or working out, you will notice a tremendous increase in the amount of fat your body burns and the rate your metabolism is at when you support your body with the CLA. Omega-3 is another great way to support the body with good, healthy fat that will help keep the tummy fluffiness down. Carb inhibitors. Oftentimes, the heavier we get, the more leptin we produce, which is the hormone that says, stop, you're full, you're done. But we don't respond to it. We respond less and less the fluffier we get. Isn't that interesting? So we never feel like it's enough. You know what I think from a psychology standpoint? I think you truly don't think you're ever enough. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not lean enough. You're not intellectual enough. You're not successful enough. If you don't believe you're enough, then why would your mind think you're enough? And why would there ever be enough food or ever enough drink? Because you don't, I can tell you every single addict, 100%, every addict has the deep down core root belief that they are not enough. And therefore, there's not enough alcohol that could ever numb their pain. There's not enough food. There's not enough. They're not enough. You'll notice people that have a lot of shoes in their closet, a lot of clothes in their closet, a lot of stuff around their house, lots of wood carved howling wolves in their house and coyotes. Just kidding. You need to get rid of some of those beautiful carved coyotes. Sometimes if you think it's not enough, maybe it's not, but I'm thinking a few of them over in my house might help me to feel that it is enough. That's an inside joke between Nancy Elliott and myself. She and Kim, Nancy is an artist, and she and Kim have the most beautiful and unique things in their home. But one thing I was super drawn to when I was there, and I tried to stick one in my bag, and Nancy caught me. Holly, I'm totally joking. I would have never taken her coyote. It wouldn't have fit in my suitcase. All right, back to the topic at hand. If alcohol is the issue and you like to indulge or overindulge, please, please, number one, you have got to support your liver. Your liver is equivalent to your oil filter. So if you actually think that you can run your car its whole lifetime on one oil filter, think again. Nobody would ever be that foolish. Yet you think, do I really need to do a liver cleanse, a hepato cleanse? Really? Yeah, really. Every toxic, every foreign food, every pharmaceutical, every alcohol, every bit of sugar, your liver has had to detoxify your body from all of it, your whole life. Now, two things. One, we do have something called a 7-day NutriClean cleanse. It's a good place to start, both psychologically and physically, because it has 7 days worth of liver cleansing tablets, release tablets to get the sludge moving out of the gut so you don't have rotting bacteria festering in your guts. And it also has a wonderful fiber powder. This is a very rich fiber powder with probiotics and L-glutamine. I love this fiber powder and it tastes great. Now, that's a good place to start. However, if you know that you are going to continue to tax your liver, then I would get on the actual hepato cleanse, liver cleanse. Now, the other thing that you guys might not realize, and this is my tip of the night, the green coffee tablets with Garcinia cambogia. This is a tablet that is the coffee before it was actually roasted in a tablet form with Garcinia cambogia. That little guy is going to work to offset the effect that alcohol will have on your liver, the effect that those empty, non-nutritious calories will have on your body. So this is something that if I'm going to have a glass of wine, I'm taking one of these before I have that glass of wine, because I want it to offset the ability of that extra sugar from the alcohol and the toxicity of the alcohol. I don't want that to be uptaken into my body. And those TLS green coffee tablets will support my body in neutralizing and getting rid of, rather than uptaking and causing weight gain and issue. So that might help some of you, for those days. Now, what if I told you that we can make the necessary changes, the changes that you have been looking for, and give you the improvements that you want in simply 3 hours? What if we could do it? We, with RTT, believe that your inner child needs to finally feel the love, the value, the worth that he or she deserves. We all have an inner child. Many of us have lived our entire lives not believing that we are one, that we are bonded, that she deserves to be loved, that she deserves to be valued, that she deserves to have positive significance in this world. Most of us live our whole life hiding behind something and not ever coming to the place that we feel like we can truly be honest with ourselves. I believe we can change it, and I've been doing it for the last year. I became a rapid transformation therapy practitioner so that I could finally marry the transitions lifestyle and the rapid transformation therapy to bring people to where they fully 100% finally know that everything in our life, every action, every inaction, every behavior, every outcome, it started with a thought. Show me something that doesn't start with a thought. Everything starts with a thought. So if we can change the thought that's driving the action, that's driving the craving, that's driving the pattern, that's driving the self-sabotage, that's driving the belief that you're different, that you're not enough, and that you are not worthy of love, if we can change that thought, we can change the outcome and the behavior. We can give you the thoughts that you choose only nutritious foods that fuel your body. It's what I program my mind to believe. We can choose the thought that I choose to be fit and healthy, and that my food choices reflect that. We can change and have a thought that removes all the pain, all the hurt, all the loss, the imprints, and remove the root cause, the reason why you have relationship you do with food and alcohol. We can support you in finally feeling free and having joy in the things outside of eating. Eating does not have to be our way of entertainment. When people say, how do you do it? I've got to plan all my meals and I got to have so much variety. No, that's a thought. That's a thought. Because we eat here every day, guys. Like, I think, do people think that Tony and I don't, we never go out to eat. I can tell you, we almost never, ever go out to eat. Today, I cooked up a whole bunch of meat on the grill. It's in the crock pot right now. Ta-da! I ground up some onions and I cooked up some and I put that in the crock with the meat. Amazing, right? I had asparagus left over from yesterday. I heated it up and I cooked up some carrots while I was working today. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy talk when we say, I just can't do it. It takes too much work. A lot of times on the weekend, I'll grill up a bunch of meat. So I've got my protein all set. My fridge is always loaded with beautiful, nutritious vegetables. I've got isotonics greens in my cabinet. So if I don't get in all of my greens, I'll just have some extra greens through my isotonics that day. Guys, I've got my shakes in my cupboard. I got my protein bars in my purse. I mean, it's not that hard. The real issue is deep down, you have a different thought than what I have. I'm not saying I'm the be all end all perfect. I'm saying it can be done. It can be done. If I can program my brain to have the right thoughts, so can you. Fat, fiber, and protein are always yeses because they inhibit the ability of that food to be converted so quickly into sugar. And if we can slow the process, because if you eat granola, cereal, breads, muffins, any rice, white things, white potatoes, it all converts almost as fast as you eat it. It converts to sugar and it spikes your blood sugar and you feel real good, real high for a little while till you crash and then you need it again. And you say, Shelley, I just have these cravings. I have to have it. You have to have it because you're in a crazy cycle like this, right? But fat, fiber, and protein makes managing a healthy weight no big deal. Fat, fiber, and protein in every meal makes losing weight no big deal. I don't like the word losing, so I'm going to say releasing. At throughthewoodswellness.com, I believe we can make a difference with the combination of knowing nutritional supplementation, knowing how to help balance the body, knowing how to balance out the hormones, having the proper supplements in there. I was shocked Dr. D didn't say vitamin D3, but it is in the women's health. I will say for me, I always take an extra cap of vitamin D3, even in the summer months when I'm outside, because I truly believe every cell in the body has to have it. I'm going to make sure there's never a deficiency in my vitamin D3. Keep in mind, your mind does not care if what you tell it is good, bad, true, false, healthy, unhealthy, right or wrong. It accepts it and it acts upon your words regardless. So choose your words wisely. What I want to do now first is say thank you. I have the utmost gratitude for all of you being on here with me tonight. I love this topic. I'm crazy about this topic. I want to impact and change the entire world with this topic, and I believe we can. But I want to open up for Q&A, question, answer, comments, thoughts, experiences. Anybody who is willing or would love to, please just unmute yourself and pop on. And I'm going to look at the chat to see if there's anything that you guys asked in there. Renee, yeah, make a mess. Dr. D's Sexy 6. What about Vivaquin for omega-3? Omega-3 is going to be a better source for hormone balance, inflammatory response, and neurological function. Vivaquin, Sue, would be a great product if you're looking at having a triglyceride type omega-3, and if you're looking at upper respiratory issues. For the Vivaquin would be good, but I do not believe it's better than the omega-3 for the reasons that we're talking tonight. The hormones were estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, yes, but remember cortisol also goes up when we're approaching menopause, which is our stress hormone. And when we're stressed and cortisol is up, what gets fluffier? The tummy, right? So that's why I said we really do want to work to stay in balance. I am not a big proponent of synthetic estrogen type therapy or hormone replacement therapies, but I respect whatever you choose. I am not an expert in that arena. I just know that for me, I believe healthy eating is almost 100% responsible for keeping those hormones balanced and then getting the supplementation in there along with it. Absolutely, Suzanne Patrick. It's honestly, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you on here. Yeah, Jeanette, that's so interesting how we associate driving in a car. Jeanette is sharing here. She said, when I used to smoke, driving in a car was always partnered with a cigarette. Isn't that drinking is always, I mean, you'll hear people say, I stopped smoking forever. And then, I went out to the bar and pretty soon I was smoking again. How we partner things together, and so many of us guys, if we be honest, we have an addiction of some sort. I wish my addiction was sex, and my husband probably does too. I mean, in fact, hey, you can feed your mind anything you want to. We just need to start telling ourselves that. So Nancy, I see Kim smiling right now. He feels the same way. All husbands would just love if we women, Kim Elliott, there's one of those beautiful wood carved. Now, what is that? Kim, is that a rabbit? Yes, that one is a rabbit. They've got these gorgeous wooden carvings in their home. Beautiful, beautiful carvings. Very good. Okay. Anybody else have a thought, a question, a aha moment tonight? Something where you said, oh my gosh, that makes sense for me. Jeanette.
I do, Shelley.
Yeah, awesome.
I posted it in the chat, but you might not get to it. So for someone who's in full menopause, is that still considered a hormonal change time or yes. Not? And which detox kit would be best for someone who's in full menopause?
Yes, absolutely it is. And, one of the comments that Dr. D was very clear about is, ladies, you will invest more. The older you get, you will invest more, because those hormones, yes, Jeanette, they will continue to drop and plummet until we become weaker, more brittle, have almost no libido and then struggle in that whole arena, right? So we can offset that. Yes, the detoxification kit that you want. God, how is it labeled? It's the one with the hepato cleanse, the oxygen extreme, and the curcumin. And I just can't remember. It's got a title. If anybody sees it, throw it in the chat. But it's actually got the name. Carrie, if you can look that up, that'd be great. Do you happen to, if you can pull that up? What is it actually called? I looked at it just today, but it's got the 3 products in, Jeanette. You would want to stay on that detoxification kit through menopause. Yeah. Yeah. So just, it's not the NutriClean, detox. It's the detoxification kit. I think it's called the complete detoxification kit. Yeah, there we go. Complete detoxification kit. And that's all 3. And yes, we are in major hormone changes during menopause. And that's why, you see the advertisements for dryness, discomfort, all of those things. I can honestly say that right now, and the sexual health, the isotonic sexual health product is amazing. So we can be open here, guys, right? I mean, we can be open that the feminine and the isotonic sexual health product, that combination is amazing for me anyway, and for many of my clients to support lubrication, libido, hormonal balance. Use those products, guys. It is worth it to keep the intimacy in your life. That's a valuable part of marriage. By the way, I'm going to tell you, when I was going through school, one of the things that our teacher, she is a cancer survivor, and she was extremely clear about sex is one of the healthiest things that you can do in your life because it increases the natural killer cells. So it increases your immune system. It raises all the happy hormones. It keeps your hormones more in balance. So it is extremely healthy for both the male and the female, but especially females. It is a natural immune support. And I'm going to tell you, for all my single females, one of the questions, of course, in class was, what if you don't have a partner? Does it still fulfill those same like happy hormones and, the other positive effects of the natural killer cells? And the answer is yes, with orgasm. So yes, it still will support all of those issues. Working out, exercising will increase and improve those hormones as well. Great question, Jeanette. Anyone else have a question or a thought or something that they'd like to share with the group?
Shelley, to continue on with what Jeanette said, how the detox kit, that's a 30-day supply. Do you continuously take that? I mean, because I take Oxygen Extreme and curcumin every day. I just don't take the hepatic cleanse every day. So,
I do. Yes, Renee, I do now. I didn't before.
Okay.
I used to do what you said, the curcumin oxygen, and then every once in a while I'd cycle through and do a month of the hepato cleanse. When Dr. Deidre Mason, I mean, I've heard her say it 3 times now, especially to we women, please hear me. Women, please hear me. You have to keep detoxifying your liver. You have to. And that's when it hit me. I think what she's really trying to say, because she can only obviously say so much, I think she's really trying to impress upon us, or you're going to face the consequence of it.
Yeah.
The older we get, the more years our liver has had to work, the more we need to give it a little love.
Okay.
Yeah. Great question.
And I have one more question. Of the set that you shared with us for women during menopause, would she have changed? Do you know, were there any changes in those items? The women's health, do you move that to anti-aging? Just wondering, what was the change, or still take all of that afterwards?
Interestingly enough, Renee, that was very curious for me, because for those of you that are familiar with the isotonic essentials, we have turn up, we have turn down, both formulated to support us mentally and physically, which I love, right? And then we have the anti-aging and the women's health multivitamin. Well, Dr. D herself says the best written multivitamin in the company is the anti-aging multivitamin.
Right.
However, the best written multivitamin for a woman who is in her change of life is the women's health.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
And yeah, very interesting. That was an eye-opener for me.
Me too.
I take the anti-aging. I'm
Me
switching.
too.
I'm going to go to the women's health now. Yep.
Okay.
that one was written more for hormonal changes. The anti-aging, she said, definitely are guys, and certainly for gals, women who are looking more at cardiovascular health,
Right.
physical endurance kind of health, that kind of thing. Yep. So
Yeah.
isn't that interesting, Renee?
Yeah, very much so, because I thought she always swore that the anti-aging was it to take, was her
Yes.
number. So
Yes.
that's great, because
Yes.
it has CoQ10 in it. I do know that.
It
So
does. It
we
does.
supplement that.
But
Yeah.
you know what, Renee? I am more of I by far support the advanced CoQ10 in the capsule. I
Mhm.
always have. I know it's better absorbed than the isotonic one. I know that for a fact. It's better absorbed in that form. So I have always taken the advanced coenzyme Q10 anyway. And I believe you're getting a better product than the isotonic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Really good questions. Anyone else?
Yeah, Shelley, I have a question. So I had some blood work done a while back with the to figure out where my with my foods, the foods that trigger the inflammation. And the foods that came up are eggs, dairy, and pineapple, and a few other things that I absolutely love. So I'm trying to figure out how I can replace my proteins, and especially in the early morning, because I love my eggs.
Yes.
Eggs, and then if I combine the eggs with the pineapple, or if I combine the eggs with something else, my inflammation rate goes just skyrocketing.
Oh, how interesting. So do you know if it's the whole egg or is it a certain part of the egg?
Well, believe it or not, it came up as the egg white, and then it also came up as the yolk. So it was separated, but I mean, it's the whole egg. I mean, I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Now I've got to get back on track that way, because the last couple of weeks, as everybody did when it got warm, we're eating things we haven't been eating in a long time. And I'm also a TLS coach, so I have all the tools here, but I need to figure out what I'm going to replace my eggs with in the morning, because that's one of my go-tos.
Okay. So the first thing I'll say is you absolutely can do it. I have not eaten eggs since I was about 5 years old.
Okay.
Mentally, they gross me out, and so does milk. I am grossed out by the two. Dairy farmer, I cannot look at either one. They make me sick to my stomach, which is so sad because I promote eggs, right? I think that's a great source of protein. So I've lived my whole life without them, Renee. So what do I do in the morning? Sometimes it's leftovers. So it might be just, like the pork primes that I made tonight. I might have that, but I get these delicious, there's some really good brands out there of organic, like chicken sausage and turkey sausage that I love. And so in the morning, my typical morning, and then I get this, I just get it from Walmart. It's a non-dairy cheese, or you could get a goat cheese.
Okay.
Right? Both delicious. And so I get that, and it's actually grated. So I'll take my turkey or chicken sausage, put that in the pan. I'll sprinkle a little of that non-dairy cheese on there. Then I slice up a half of my avocado and I put that on top, and it is amazing. So that's what I eat for my breakfast in the morning most times. Yep. So I'm getting a good source of protein. It's very filling. Sometimes if I'm really like wanting to have a treat, I will get almond flour, little tortillas, like little almond flour tortillas.
Okay.
And put avocado oil in the pan, get it nice and hot. I'll put that almond tortilla in there. It gets real crispy, and I put my chicken sausage and my non-dairy cheese and my avocado on it. Oh my gosh, it's like a treat. So that is like a treat. So that'll help you get through it. And you know what? Pretty soon you won't even notice it. You won't even notice that, the eggs aren't there.
Sure. Then the one thing I have realized, and I know I used to be a huge baker. That right now is the one thing I miss the most, because I'm also an empty nester. So if I bake, I literally have to take whatever I bake, and I literally need to take it away. I need to take it to school by all the teachers, because it's just, I guess, again, like you say, how we were raised.
Yeah.
People baked, and that's what we did. I guess that's one thing right now that I miss the most. And I can say this, and I think you saw it in the chat. Chocolate's my absolute poison. And I've heard Dr. Deidre say it, 7 or 8 times, that sugar is more toxic to your liver than alcohol.
It is.
And I'm a new cancer survivor, as you know, and I need to break it. And I know I did really good for a long time. It did really
Yes.
good. I just need to get it out of my house and just be done with it.
Yes, I'll give you a couple of thoughts. You guys, I have tons of food hacks. I love Zevias. I don't know how many of you love Zevias, but that root beer Zevia, right, Jeanette? Oh my gosh. I mean, I can be craving a sweet flavor and pull out like a cream soda or a root beer Zevia. And I mean, it just takes it all away. It's amazing. I also love Kachava chocolate bars. The Kachava chocolate bars, they are loaded with nutrition. They're excellent. They're very, very healthy, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein. That baby just takes away any sweet craving.
Okay.
The cookies and cream shake, the protein shake with TLS, that's another one that it can wipe away a craving, a chocolate craving. What else do I use? The Built bars. If you want a bar that will absolutely make you think you're eating a candy bar, BUILT, Built bars, it's like you're eating candy bars and they have every flavor there is. But again, almost no sugar, loaded with protein and fiber. Obviously, you know, we have the raw bars and I don't know, there's some other ones that there's some Quest bars. I will get Quest bars. So I've always got, oh, there's a new one that I get. I order it through Walmart.com. It's a banana bread protein bar and it's gluten-free. And again, I love reading labels. So I'm always very
I do
conscious
too.
of the label. Protein and fiber, protein and fiber. Those are the first two things I look for. Low sugar, protein, fiber. That banana bread one is another one. It's kind of like gritty, grainy, like it gives you that feeling like you're eating something that you probably shouldn't, but it's gluten-free and I have to have everything gluten-free. So Built bars, those bars, the Kachava bars, the TLS cookies and cream shake, those are my go-tos for something sweet. And the Zevia. Oh my gosh, Zevia that is like, if it's late at night, the last thing you want to do is put food in your body. It's so absolutely hard on your system because then your body can't detox at night because it's busy trying to digest instead of detox. So that's when I'll grab a Zevia instead. Like if it's like, oh God, I'm really kind of hungry right now, but I've been working for the last 4 hours and 9 o'clock is not the time to eat. I'll grab a Zevia, go up to my room, and before I know it, I'm out. So
Okay. Good to know.
yeah.
I'm
Go
just right now trying to stay out of that rabbit hole I just got out of. Shelley,
Yeah.
you know my journey and I don't want to go back. So so this was amazing tonight because it gave me some other thoughts and ideas.
Good. That's
Thank you.
exactly what I want. And, you know, if there was any wish that I would have, it would be for us with TLS to bring a little bit more of the psychology and the relationship of our food into it. But I realize sometimes it's hard. You almost have to have somebody on there who either has a background or a skill set there because it would be very hard for everyone to duplicate. But that is where I come in for those people that really feel like they're struggling. Maybe I can be a pop-on guest for one of your TLS classes or something like that. But people need to know there is a way out. So bye, Kim Elliott. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Nancy and Holly say goodbye too, and they're sending their love, hugs, kisses. I can't imagine how much you two miss each other, but I think Nancy's having the time of her life with her sister. So, all right, guys. I love you guys for being on here with me. And I hope and I pray that you guys find your way through all of this and reach out and say hello and give me feedback. I would be so happy. And for all of you who listened with us on Facebook tonight, thanks for being with us. You guys, appreciate you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Shelley. We love you. Thank you.
Love you too.
Love you,
Bye-bye.
Shelley.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.